Tia Irby.
And I'm Ira Schreiner. It's November 9th, 2018, and you're watching the Cougar News Network, brought to you by Asheville Middle School Journalism.
Next week, it looks like the high is going to be 50 degrees and lows in the 20s. It will mostly be clouds and a chance of rain.
Well, I guess it's time to break out jackets and wear some layers. It's getting really cold these days.
Yeah, it is. Our top stories include a murdered journalist in Turkey, the 2018 midterm elections, the AMS lockdown, and basketball tryouts.
We now turn to Barrett reporting on a murdered journalist.
For our world news today, we will be talking about the murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Jamal was close to the Saudi Arabia royal family and also served as an advisor to the government. On October 2nd, Jamal walked into the city's government office in Istanbul and was never to be seen again. His disappearance has brought a lot of controversy to the topic, and no one is claiming they know what happened to him. Jamal's two sons are also looking for his body to give him a proper Islamic burial. This shows that being a journalist comes with risk, but his work was important to many.
Thanks, Barrett. Now let's go to Olivia for our national story about today's midterm elections.
On Tuesday this week, many Americans took to the polls to exercise their rights as American citizens by voting. Voting is a right that everyone should exercise because of the long history the U.S. underwent to get to where we are today in terms of voting. Before the United States became a country, English colonists fought the Revolutionary War against England. They fought this war for lots of reasons, one being no taxation without representation, which is why we have a democracy and have citizens vote for representatives to represent us in our government. For many years, only white landowning men were allowed to vote. After thousands of marches, peaceful protests, and sometimes deaths to ensure the rights for all Americans to have the right to vote, today, all U.S. citizens are now legally allowed to vote. There are still many protests involving the rights for Puerto Ricans and immigrants. Most Americans think that all Americans should vote and use their voice. On November 6, 2018, voter turnout was historically high. Approximately 114 million votes were casted in the U.S. House races in 2018, compared to the 83 million in 2014, according to the estimates by New York Times. Democrats had a big win this week by taking over the House of Representatives. Republicans kept control of the Senate. This week was also a big week for women making history in politics. Here are some firsts. The first Muslim and Native American women were elected to office, the first African American woman from Massachusetts, the first female House from Iowa, the first Latina Congress member from Texas, the first female governor of Iowa, and more. I know I personally find this inspiring. And now back to the newsroom.
Thank you, Olivia.
Voting is always important, even in non-presidential elections.
I can't wait until I can vote.
Me too. Now we go to Aaron reporting on the AMS lockdown.
Thanks, Iris. Hey Cougars, I'm sure all of you have heard about the lockdown that was placed on Tuesday, November 6th here at Asheville Middle School, but I'm here to give you a little more information on that event. According to a Citizen Times article, at approximately 12:30 p.m., Asheville Middle was placed on a full lockdown with APD and SWAT team present. We were in the lockdown for a little over 4 hours and parents were still attempting to pick kids up at 5 p.m., but some didn't get picked up until almost 6, being escorted out one by one. Later that night, WLOS released information saying that a juvenile suspect was to be charged after the threat causing the lockdown. All students are safe with no one being injured, but it was still a scary experience for all staff and students, and of course the parents. Thank you to everybody who was at the school doing everything they could to keep everyone safe. And now back to you, Iris.
Thanks, Aaron.
We should always feel safe in our own school.
I agree. I'm glad our lockdown procedure worked. Thank you to APD and our teachers for helping keep us safe.
And now we go to Carter Marshbanks reporting on sports.
Thanks, Tia. Hey Cougars, I'm here with Kyle Mosier, an 8th grader from the AMS basketball team. Trials were last week and the team is now ready for their first game next Thursday against Reynolds. What was it like trying out?
It was really hard because it would run a ton, but after that it got pretty easy.
Why did you want to play basketball this year?
I played last year and it's just something fun to do, keeps me in shape.
How are you guys preparing for the first game of the season?
We're running a lot and we're running a lot of scrimmages to get game ready.
Thanks. I hope the team can get the first win of the season.
Hi,
now back to you.
Coach Tim Zabrock. I'm coaching the Asheville Middle School middle school boys this year. Looking forward to a really great season. Great bunch of young men that's been working hard, and hopefully our hard work will pay off this year. If you get a chance, please come out and check out all our home games and away games, because we cannot do without your support. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Carter.
I can't wait for winter sports to start.
Me too. I'm sure our boys and girls basketball teams are going to have an awesome season. Wrestling too.
Before we sign off, here's a few more updates for this week. Don't forget to order your yearbooks while it's still at the lowest price of the year. You can order at cougarprideavl.com. Also, remember to follow AMS on Instagram to get the latest photos and updates. You can follow us at AMS_CougarPride. Lastly, we don't have school on Monday, November 12th, in honor of Veterans Day. So enjoy your 3-day weekend.
I'm Iris.
And I'm Tia.
Signing off. Until next time, Cougar family, have a roarific week. Cougar Pride!